Hi, Boneless Comics fans. I thought it would be cool to take a look at some of Yoshitaka Amano's early work for the Final Fantasy series with the release of Final Fantasy 16. So here we have the box set The Sky, which I have gone ahead and opened up because the books are actually very tightly packed in. But this was published by Dark Horse Comics a number of years ago, and I was able to get it on a discount as the covering box has a little bit of a dent in it and just a tiny scratch on the face of the title character there. But it actually comprises 3 volumes, which are in great shape. Volume 1 is Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3. Volume 2 is the thickest of all the volumes, of all the art books, with the art of Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6. And Volume 3 has 7 through 10. So the modern entries are probably going to be the ones that are, well, I say modern, but the 90s are probably going to be the ones that people are more familiar with these days. So the final volume covers 1997 to 2001. And it is really fascinating to see Amano's take on some of these characters that were then reinterpreted by Tetsuya Nomura for the in-game modeling. Because there definitely is a disconnect and a difference in their depiction in Amano's original artwork and what they ended up with in the game. So here we have Cloud and Red 13. Again, 1997, so this is going to be all Final Fantasy VII content. Cloud and Aerith. Again, another one of Cloud and Aerith, just kind of a black and white picture. That is presumably Sephiroth there. More Cloud and Aerith, just kind of establishing what their profiles look like and, things of that nature. It's very interesting how he's using the white to create lines as opposed to blacks to sort of, carve out the negative space that way. So here we have Cloud putting Aerith to rest. Early design for Vincent Valentine. And this is more of a cast shot with some monsters in the background. So we have Aerith and Cloud, and again, Red 13. This is a palette swapped version of that. That is possibly Barrett behind them. I am not 100% sure on that. That's clearly Sephiroth. He's got the big shoulder pauldron and the katana. Although Nomura's artwork would extend the katana to ridiculous lengths. There we have Tifa Lockhart. Again, going with a much brighter color scheme than what we would see in the final finished product. So this is kind of a representation of Midgar with, one of the pillars going up to support the city. These later games, his contributions started to be less and less as they kind of moved away from his art style, which is a shame because I think it would be really interesting to see some of this stuff modeled now in full 3D. Final Fantasy VIII, if you don't know, is my favorite entry in the series. This is Squall Leonhart. See the reflection of him facing off against Cypher here in his gunblade. So there he is holding it much more like a gun. And again, a facing page of Cypher. There's Selphie Tilmit there. And I believe we have the whole cast here with Irvin Kinneas, Selphie Tilmit. There's Squall in the center. Renoa would be up top, Zell, and then Quistis. It's definitely Laguna Loire. And another, just kind of different color study. Romance was very much the theme of this title, so it makes sense that we have kind of a ballroom dancing set piece here with Renoa. It is interesting that both of the characters are depicted as blonde here, where they will both have darker hair colors in the final product. That would be one of the sorceresses leading her parade of terror. here's the actual logo design for the game, which this was used in the final product as the image for for the game's logo, both in game and on the box artwork. It's really cool, and something I would not have thought to do, to have Squall's torso kind of cut off by the swirl of Rinoa's dress, and it kind of symbolizes their combining as part of the storyline. Here we have some really nice black and white studies of the two characters embracing. That's one that uses more negative space to establish shapes, but you can see how Amano's artwork clearly was the inspiration and the jumping off point, and in some cases very nearly the final product for some of the designs used in the game. Like the gunblade here is basically taken directly from his work. So Final Fantasy IX, released in 2000. This is going to round out the PlayStation trilogy. There we have Alexandria, also Alexander. Spoilers for the game's story. There we have him coming to life, which is a very iconic scene from the game. Those depictions of various airships, and one of the things that Amano really likes to do is kind of push the limits of the biological and the technological and kind of combine them. So the ship itself there almost looks like it's alive. That could be the Prima Vista. Of course, that could be it as well. But he sort of had this grand vision of these massive airships. I suppose it's possible that that's the Invincible as well, because that actually does sort of have living components to it within the game, or it has certainly an eyeball on the bottom of it. So anyway, just incredible watercolor work here. Kind of a face-off in Pandemonium against Garland, it looks like there. We've got Zidane up top. Possibly Amarant Coral behind him. This is a really nice shot of the party just, sitting outside the forest. This is very much a scene that was included in the game, where we have Dagger on the right, we have Vivi, we have Zidane, and then we have Steiner right after they've escaped from the forest. So even though they went with different art directors for these games, they very much, used Amano's designs to influence where they would take the art direction. And so here we have them fighting on a tree root, which again would be the Ifa tree in Final Fantasy IX. This almost needs to be displayed horizontally to really get the full effect. But the two planetary bodies that comprise the story of FF9, and Dagger and Zidane flying up there. There's very much an early sketch of his character design, and then there would be more of a finalized design. So while the name of the art director for 9 escapes me, it was not Tetsuya Nomura, it was someone else. While you can see that they did alter the designs a little bit, it is pretty close to what Yoshitaka Amano came up with. Garnet till Alexandros the 17th. Close up of her. We got Vivi. Again, a much more lavish character design that would kind of be pared down. Might be Yusuke Neora that did the art direction for the game. I don't recall specifically. It's the same guy that did Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I do know that. There is Steiner, the knight. We have Freya, the Dragoon of Burmecia. Much more pulled back shot of Freya. Adelbert Steiner. There's our guy, Amarant Coral, who has one of the cooler theme songs in the game. Eiko Carol, or Eiko, depending on how you choose to pronounce it, and she's got Mog with her. So You can tell that a lot of the story elements were very much in place already before Amano took a crack at the designs. So Quinn, and I love this image because this character is all about eating. So there's just fruit and melons and, you know, all kinds of fun stuff going on there. It was very enjoyable. Shot of Kuja's codpiece. Not sure why we needed a close-up on that, but there it is. Kuja being the antagonist of FF9. Here you have the whole Tantalus troop. There's Baku and Marcus and Blank, Bonero and Gennaro. Did I say Marcus? Oh, Senna. Senna is the other one. And then Ruby in the upper left. Queen Braun. That's about how she looks in the game. Zorn and Thorn. And we have Garland, which is a unique design for Final Fantasy IX, but very much an evolution of the character design used in the original Final Fantasy. There's Zidane, resembling much more of what they would use practically in the game. There must have been a decision halfway through development to change them to more childlike appearances. So here we see, you know, Amano taking a crack more at that type of style. And so this here is basically identical to what you'll see in the actual finished product. Even down to some of his posing and, you know, things of that nature. So, there we have a rare shot of Beatrix. We have different color studies for hair and outfits for Garnet. Obviously, the black hair is what they ended up going with for the final version of the game. Again, just inching closer to that design aesthetic that would be what we see in the final product here. Amarant, for sure, they've really had him kind of brighten up the colors. And just some designs for crystals, you know. So, fun page with some just basic character portraits. I think that's enough for now, but I would highly recommend this art book to anybody that has an interest in the Final Fantasy series or in the art of Yoshitaka Amano. He also has work published for Marvel called Wolverine and Elektra the Redeemer. That is very much a prose story that he has created illustrations for. So that's something that you're interested in. That's another thing you could check out from Amano that's got some really great work. Anyway, thanks for watching.